Ladies and gentlemen, pain is one of the greatest mysteries of life. When someone hurts you, when they betray you, when they reject you, your mind immediately asks why. Why would God allow this? Why would life put me in such a position? In those moments, it feels unfair. It feels cruel. It feels like the universe is against you. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if that very pain was not designed to destroy you, but to prepare you? What if it was a divine arrangement to shape you into someone you never imagined you could become? The truth is, nothing in your life happens by accident. Every experience, even the ones that tear your heart apart, carries meaning. The hurt you felt, the tears you shed, the sleepless nights you endured, these were not wasted. They were tools. Tools meant to strip away illusions, to burn out weakness, and to awaken a side of you that comfort and ease could never touch. God allows certain storms to come not to sink you, but to strengthen your foundation. Without that pain, you would never have tapped into the depth of courage, resilience, and clarity that is already within you. Think about it. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. A seed cannot sprout until it is buried in the darkness of the soil, pressed down and broken open. In the same way, you cannot rise into the next level of your life until you are broken open by experiences that feel unbearable in the moment. The betrayal that shattered your trust was meant to teach you discernment. The rejection that made you question your worth was meant to push you toward your real value. The heartbreak that left you empty was meant to clear the space for something better to arrive. Every hurt is a hidden assignment. Every painful moment is a form of divine training. When someone hurts you, the first instinct is to hold on to bitterness, to replay the pain, to let anger harden inside of you. But if you can shift your perspective, you'll realize that the pain they caused was a gift in disguise. They played their role in your transformation. Without them, you would not have awakened to your strength. Without them, you would not have been forced to grow. God wanted them to hurt you because he knew that pain would activate your higher self, the self that refuses to settle, the self that demands change, the self that will never again tolerate less than what you deserve. You see, strength doesn't come from what you avoid. Strength is forged in the fire of what you endure. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified in fire. Muscles are built by resistance. And souls are strengthened by pain. What feels like destruction is often construction. It is the tearing down of the old so the new can emerge. The person you were before the hurt is not the person who will step into your destiny. That version of you had limits, blind spots, and attachments that needed to be broken. The hurt stripped those away. If you look back at your life, the most powerful breakthroughs often came right after the deepest breakdowns. The doors that opened often came after someone slammed another one in your face. The wisdom you now carry was born out of the tears you once cried. It's easy to see pain as an enemy, but the truth is, pain is one of the most honest friends you'll ever have. It never lies. It always reveals. It shows you who is real. It shows you what matters, and it shows you what needs to change. And sometimes, the people who hurt you were chosen as instruments for your transformation. They thought they were breaking you, but in reality, they were building you. They thought they were taking something from you, but they were actually giving you the gift of strength, of clarity, of resilience. God wanted them to hurt you because he knew without that pain, you would have stayed in places you didn't belong, with people who didn't value you, in patterns that were slowly destroying you. That pain was the alarm clock to wake you up to your true potential. The hurt was not about punishment. It was about preparation for the person you're becoming, preparation for the opportunities that require a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of you. Preparation for the destiny that will demand more than comfort ever could have given you. Pain is not random. Pain is intentional. It is designed to elevate, to cleanse, to shape. When life knocks you down, when betrayal cuts deep, when disappointment shakes your soul, the first thought that comes is always rooted in self-pity. Why me? Why did they treat me like that? Why did I have to go through this? That, why me? Mindset is the beginning of victimhood. And victimhood is the prison that keeps millions of people locked away from their destiny. You see, pain by itself doesn't destroy you. What destroys you is identifying with the pain so much that you let it define who you are. You start to believe the story that you are powerless, unlucky, cursed, or forever broken. That is the greatest trap you can fall into. The truth is, the moment something hurts you, you have two choices. You can collapse under it and wear the title of victim for the rest of your life, or you can rise up and transform the pain into fuel. Shifting from victim to victor doesn't mean pretending the pain didn't happen. It doesn't mean denying the betrayal, the rejection, or the heartbreak. It means you decide that the pain is not going to dictate your destiny. It means you look at the wound, acknowledge it, but then you choose to turn it into wisdom. You turn the hurt into hunger, the loss into leverage, the rejection into redirection. Victimhood thrives on questions that disempower. Why me? Why did this happen? But victory comes when you replace those questions with ones that strengthen you. What can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow? What is this experience preparing me for? That shift in mindset is everything. When you stop asking for pity and start demanding power, you unlock the ability to shape your future regardless of what your past has been. It's easy to stay stuck in the identity of someone who was wronged. People will even encourage it. They'll pat you on the back and say, "You poor thing. You didn't deserve that." And maybe you didn't. But living in that pity does not serve you. It keeps you frozen in time. It keeps you chained to the very event you want to escape. The only way to break free is to rise above the role of the victim and step into the role of the victor. That means standing tall and saying, yes, it happened. Yes, it hurt. But no, it will not control me. I will not let their actions decide my future. Victory is a decision long before it is an achievement. It's the decision to own your response instead of blaming circumstances. It's the decision to use the fire instead of letting it burn you alive. It's the decision to stand up and fight for your future instead of surrendering it to the pain of your past. You become a victor the moment you stop waiting for someone to rescue you and realize you are the rescuer. You are the one who will rewrite the story. When you stay in victim mode, life feels heavy, hopeless, and unfair. You convince yourself you're powerless. But when you shift into victory mode, you realize that power has been inside you all along. The betrayal becomes your teacher. The rejection becomes your motivation. The loss becomes your reminder of how precious life really is. What once seemed like a curse transforms into a blessing in disguise. Victors understand that life doesn't happen to them, it happens for them. To live as a victor, you must let go of the idea that justice will always come the way you expect it. Some people will never apologize. Some situations will never make logical sense. Some wounds will never be acknowledged by the people who caused them. And that's okay, because victory isn't about them. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your peace, your energy, and your focus. It's about refusing to let bitterness eat away at your future. The moment you stop asking, why me, and start declaring, try me, everything changes. That phrase is the posture of strength. It means life can come at you with storms, betrayals, losses, but you will not fold. You will not be defined by the attack. You will be defined by your comeback. Victors carry a different energy. They walk with confidence, not because life has been easy, but because they know every difficulty has carved strength into their soul. Being a victor doesn't mean you never feel pain again. It doesn't mean you don't cry or struggle or wrestle with doubt. It means that in the middle of it all, you refuse to give up. You refuse to hand over your identity to the hands of those who hurt you. It means you rise each time you fall stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. Victors are not those who never face pain. They are those who refuse to let pain decide who they would become. The events that shape our lives are not as important as the meaning we attach to them. Two people can go through the exact same experience and walk away with completely different futures simply because of how they chose to interpret what happened. One person may be destroyed by rejection, while another may use that same rejection as fuel to build something extraordinary. The difference is never in the event. It is always in perception. How you see what happens to you will always determine the direction your life takes. When someone betrays you, the immediate reaction is pain. That pain is real, it is raw, and it is heavy. But the betrayal itself is not the end of your story. It is your interpretation of the betrayal that either chains you or frees you. If you tell yourself, this means I am unworthy, this means I will always be let down, this means I can never trust again, you create a prison in your mind. You take a single painful moment and allow it to define the rest of your life. But if you choose a different perspective, if you say, this means I am being redirected, this means I have learned something powerful, this means I am stronger than I thought, suddenly the very same event becomes the doorway to growth. Perception is the lens through which you experience reality. If your lens is clouded by bitterness, anger, or self-pity, you will see every event as evidence that life is unfair. But if your lens is sharpened by faith, resilience, and self-awareness, you will see every event as evidence that life is shaping you. The circumstances are the same, but the meaning transforms everything. Rejection is one of the clearest examples. A closed door can look like the universe working against you. It can make you feel abandoned, forgotten, invisible. But if you adjust your perception, you realize rejection is often protection. The opportunity that didn't work out, the person who walked away, the job that slipped through your fingers, those were not accidents. They were divine interventions steering you away from places that could have destroyed you. What feels like a loss is sometimes just God's way of saving you from a future you could not see. The same is true of failure. You can look at failure as a sign that you are incapable, or you can look at failure as feedback, as education, as the necessary stepping stone toward mastery. The greatest achievers in history were not people who avoided failure, but people who redefined it. They didn't see it as a wall. They saw it as a mirror, showing them what needed to change. Their perception turned failure from an ending into a beginning. Even pain itself can be redefined through perception. Pain can feel like a punishment if you see it through the wrong lens. But if you look deeper, you realize pain often carries purpose. The lessons that stick with you the longest are the ones written in tears, not comfort. The strength you admire in others was built through battles, not ease. When you choose to perceive pain as preparation, it stops being your enemy and becomes your ally. This power of perception is what separates people who stay stuck from those who move forward. Life does not promise us fairness, but it always offers us a choice in how we see things. You cannot always control what people do to you, but you can always control the story you tell yourself about it. You can decide whether that betrayal was the end of your trust or the beginning of your wisdom. You can decide whether that setback was proof you are unlucky or proof that you are being guided towards something greater. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending bad things didn't happen. It's about reclaiming authority over your mind, because once you own your perception, nothing outside of you has the power to define you. People can talk, they can doubt, they can attack, but they cannot decide the meaning of your story. That belongs to you. Every wound, every scar, every heartbreak is neutral until you assign it meaning. And the meaning you choose decides whether it breaks you or builds you. Perception is a tool, and like any tool, it can either construct or destroy depending on how you use it. If you continually see yourself as a victim of circumstances, life will always feel heavy and hopeless. But if you continually see yourself as a student of circumstances, life will always feel like a classroom designed to elevate you. The same storm that sinks one ship can carry another to its destination, and the only difference is how the captain interprets the wind and the waves. When you shift your perception, you shift your reality. The betrayal becomes a teacher instead of a trauma. The rejection becomes redirection instead of ruin. The failure becomes feedback instead of finality. Nothing outside of you has to change for your destiny to change. Only the way you choose to see it. Negative feelings are among the heaviest weights a person can carry. They linger long after the moment has passed, poisoning your thoughts, draining your energy, and clouding your judgment. Anger, resentment, bitterness, jealousy. These are not just emotions. They are chains that keep you tied to the people and events that hurt you. The more you hold on to them, the more you give away your power. You may believe you are punishing the one who wronged you by staying angry, but in reality, you are only punishing yourself. It is like drinking poison and hoping someone else dies. The wound may not have been your choice, but staying wounded is. When you allow negative emotions to dominate your mind, you trap yourself in a cycle of reliving the same pain over and over again. Every thought becomes a replay of betrayal. Every day becomes an extension of the past. What this does is block you from seeing the opportunities right in front of you. You cannot step into a new season while dragging the baggage of old feelings. Forgiveness and release are not about forgetting or excusing what happened. They are about setting yourself free so you can breathe again, so you can think clearly, so you can move forward without being chained to yesterday. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. Anyone can hold a grudge. Anyone can stay bitter, but it takes real power to let go. Forgiveness does not mean you allow the same person to hurt you again. It does not mean you trust them blindly or pretend nothing happened. It means you take back control over your emotions by refusing to let their actions continue to dominate your heart. You decide that your peace is more valuable than your pain. You choose to walk light instead of carrying the heavy load of resentment. Releasing negative feelings is also about protecting your mind. The more you feed anger, the more it grows. The more you entertain resentment, the more it consumes your thoughts. And whatever consumes your thoughts eventually shapes your reality. If you constantly replay betrayal, you begin to expect betrayal everywhere. If you constantly focus on rejection, you begin to believe you are unworthy. The mind is like soil. It grows whatever seeds you plant. Negative emotions are weeds that choke out everything good trying to grow in your life. You cannot plant joy, clarity, and hope in a field that is full of bitterness and anger. Letting go creates space. Space for new energies, space for new opportunities, space for new people who actually value you. Imagine holding on tightly to a rope that is burning your hand. The longer you cling to it, the deeper the wound. Yet the moment you release, the pain begins to heal. Negative feelings work the same way. You cannot begin to heal until you stop holding on. The moment you let go, the energy that was once trapped in resentment becomes fuel for your growth. What once drained you begins to empower you because you are no longer wasting energy on the past. And the truth is, the people who hurt you rarely carry the weight of your negative emotions. They move on while you stay stuck reliving the moment. Why give them that kind of power? Why let them live rent-free in your mind? They already hurt you once. Don't let them keep hurting you through your own thoughts. The real victory is not proving them wrong or waiting for their apology. The real victory is living free, joyful, and unstoppable despite what they did. That is how you rise above. That is how you take back control. It is also important to understand that releasing negative emotions is not a one-time decision. It is a practice. Some days the old feelings will come back. Some days you will be tempted to replay the betrayal, to reopen the wound. But each time you choose to let go again, you grow stronger. Each time you redirect your focus from pain to purpose, you break another link in the chain. Eventually, the grip those feelings had on you weakens until they no longer control you. The process of overcoming negative emotions begins with awareness. You cannot release what you don't acknowledge. Pay attention to what you feel and how long you hold on to it. Anger may rise. Bitterness may knock on your door, but you have the power to decide how long it stays. Emotions are visitors, not permanent residents, unless you give them permission to move in. When you notice resentment building, confront it and remind yourself that holding on serves no purpose. Replace it with gratitude for the lessons learned, with focus on the future you are building, with faith in the greater plan unfolding. When you learn to release negative emotions, your energy shifts. Your body feels lighter, your mind feels clearer, your spirit feels freer. You begin to notice possibilities that were invisible when bitterness clouded your vision. You start attracting opportunities and relationships that reflect your healed state. The world responds to the energy you carry, and when you walk with peace instead of resentment, life begins to open in ways you could not imagine while you were still holding on to the past.